I'm going to teach you how to add an alternate attire to any slot. It's a very easy process. I'm going to give Shelton Benjamin his gold standard attire. So first things first, you've got your mod. It's in the correct folders where you want it to be. So I need to find Shelton Benjamin. So his wrestler ID is 190. So if you open up your roster table and do a little search, there he is. So a little information about the alternate attires. When you see attire count pointer, the first one in this list is the base model. So it's the default one. You might come across a slot where there's no information in there, that's completely fine. All you do is the same process what we're about to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, add a little comma, and there we go. And I'm going to delete all this other junk because it's not necessary. All you need is curly whirly, attire string ID, and a closing bracket, and you're all good. You also need the string ID, obviously. What I recommend doing is, if there's no data in here, use the full name. You can see that's what 2K have done here. They're using the full name ID for the string. Shelton obviously needs another string. His ID already exists in the SDB, so I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to put it there, and then I'm going to hit save, making sure the meta's already open, which it is, and yeah, it's compiled it. Once that's done, you need to hop over to your character mapping and find Shelton in there again, which his ID was 190. And you'll find that this is his default attire. What we're going to do in a second is we're going to have another block of this data, but it's going to point towards your mod using the attire ID of number 1, which is attire 2. And I know that's confusing, it's just the way that 2K are doing it. Looking at this file, you'll see that Benjamin has 2 attires, but this is not functionable in the game, so that maybe they're going to do this later on, they're going to use it for something, and you can see that the attire number is 2, so that's attire 3. So there's 3 attire things going on here, but they're completely disabled in the game. If you come across a slot and there is information in here, so Cody Rhodes, for example, that means 2K are probably going to do something in the future, like maybe something from my faction, the shitty game mode. And anybody who likes that game mode is a loser. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up now. We're going to go open creation suite, file, new character. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this as a dummy profile to get the extracted information. What you can do, and I recommend doing, is if you're in the game and it's primed, you can right click a slot and click extract profile, and that can be used for your project of the guy you're working on or girl. But for this, we're not going to do it. So I'm going to set the attire count to 2 because that's Shelton's. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to fill all this in. Okay, that's done. You can do your crowd signs here as well. I'm not going to do that right now. You just go to, there's an attire name. You only really require this for like a visual purpose with meta. You don't have to do it. It's not a requirement. I'm just going to hit save. And I'm going to put it somewhere. Let's put it here. Dummy. Yeah. Okay, so if we pull up this profile that's just saved, you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see it has generated the data for Shelton. So all you need to do is copy this, go into your character mapping, just where Shelton is, you're going to paste, make sure I fix the syntax. You see the ID is different. If you were to extract the profile from memory, that would already be done for you. So I'm just going to copy 190 right there. I'm going to hit save. Now that that's done, I'm going to bake the files that we've just serialized, and go into game. Okay, so we're in game. If we go to Shelton, you'll see gold standard is there. Doesn't have a render. I'm going to show you that after. So if we were to click him, if we play, and there we go. It's that simple. The reason the mod looks like shit is because of the masking. This was just a quick throw together just to show you an example of how to do this. But it's that simple to do an alternate attire. So if you look in the folder of the base model, you'll see this looks different to your standard character. Well, how does this work? What it's doing is anything after the underscore has to have its own textures folder. So you see how they are matching. That's how they know, how the engine knows where to look for the textures for that base model. So you could call that Cock Twizzler or whatever you want, and it will work. But you have to make sure. So if I name this here, base model Cock Twizzler, that will work if you point to it. However, it does require you to have a textures folder called textures Cock Twizzler, and that will work. This is only if you want to do it this way. You could obviously create another folder in here and just point to it if you don't want to piss around with all this. It's just an alternate method. So with the renders, you'll see that we didn't set it in the dummy. So you'd have to come in here and select your render and wherever they are. I don't have one for the golden standard, but you just hit save. Go to the data, dummy here, and you'll see it's generated the information that you need for your render. So we're going to face textures. We need to find Shelton again. His ID, again, remember, is 190. It's the wrestler ID. There he is. And you'll see he has no renders for his second attire. So what you do is you go into the dummy. You only need to copy one because they're actually identical. 2K for some reason are just duplicating the information for absolutely no reason. So you add a comma, a couple of curly whirlies with the path. Do it for the bottom one as well, just in case it's being used somewhere else. I'm going to copy the ID for this one because I don't have a render for Shelton, so I'm just going to use his default one. I'm going to hit save. Meta's done its thing. I'm going to go back into game now and show you. Okay, we're back in game. If I were to go over to gold standard, you'll see now the render is there. There's no change because this is their identical same render. But it all works the same as we did before. Get that fucker out of the way. And there we are with the shitty broken mod. But that's literally how easy it is to add an alternate attire this year. Before you ask, you can't go over the 10 attires. I've tried it. I think it's some sort of engine limitation or whatever they've put in place. But yeah, that's it.